All right, welcome everybody. Doug here with the LincolnList.com. This is the Stock Market Weekly Review for the 5th of October. Hope all is well with you. It was a great September for us, over $23,000 worth of gains, and a very nice start to the first few days here of October. So if you're looking to elevate your game as a trader, you want to be better today than you were yesterday, and you want to continue to improve, visit the LincolnList.com. Take a 14-day free trial to our live trade room. Let's begin by taking a look here at the market. Nice little rally there last 3 days of the week, I'd have to say. And of course, there was expected to be some sort of a rally. I mean, the market really got butchered for a week or so there after the Fed meeting, falling from 202-ish down to about 186, 187 area. So, it was expected that we would see some kind of a bounce, and Friday's action was very, very strong. So we're going to see how that carries over into Monday. From my point of view, I'm still going to err on the side as just a nice bounce in a bearish market. I still think there's overhanging problems here. I don't see us going back up to the 202s. Maybe I'm completely wrong. It won't be the first time, but right now, at least with the data that I have and the action that I'm seeing, it's just a temporary rally. So I don't want to get too involved in this saying, hey, okay, everything's behind us now. We're going to start grinding back up like we used to. I think we're going to start entering a different kind of market here towards the end of the year, but that remains to be seen. If you're looking at some bounces here, maybe if it really we see strength throughout the week, we might start to work back up towards the 200, that 50 moving average here on the daily chart. That's what I would look for resistance if we start out really strong. If this rally doesn't hold up, maybe it's going to take a couple of days around this 195 to float before everybody can kind of process the last few days. We're going to find out. Then you'd want to look down here around the 190s to this 187s. It's really important that this holds over the next week or so. If these numbers go, I would think we really are going to head back down to 180, and that'll be even more importance down there at that level. You can see from that flash crash low there, sort of a flash crash, that big down day, 182-ish, was back from last year. So we'll be testing last October's lows in that area. So kind of keep that in mind. It's really important right now. You're looking at a market that's pressing down towards areas where it was last year. That means it's spent a whole year practically not moving an inch if you're just looking at the overall index. Of course, it has moved. It was very, very bullish there, but keep an eye on these numbers. A couple specific numbers. Look at resistance up towards 200 if we're strong. Look for anything under 187, and most specifically 182 for maybe even some heavier selling. So let's kind of move away from this now. Look at a few stock ideas that we're going to have. One would be this INCY. A lot of these stocks really got busted up, especially from the IBB there. These leaders really got destroyed. This thing just shot right up from its lows off this double bottom low, 91 to 126, and got rejected up here just around this 132. Now this was a good trade for us in the trade room on Friday. It didn't start out that way. It was a little rough in the beginning, but eventually we got a really nice fade. Now the reason I'm bringing it up is I think there's a little bit more pullback coming in this. I think this is going to be a pretty good short. I would like to see one more attempt at this 130 up here. I don't know if we're going to get it, but that would be tier 1, or at least plan 1 for me, is if we can get back up towards the highs from Friday and start seeing a little bit of rejection. I think this would be a great opportunity, especially if we begin the day up there. If we start right out in the morning and we're right up here, I think this is a great short. You could easily place a stop up here above the highs, and that's a really low risk trade. Risk to reward would be very favorable, especially, as I said, if it gaps up. Now, if it runs up there or builds intraday patterns, some of that might change. But for now, let's kind of look at a good spot to short INCY, because I do think this move from the 90s up to the 126, that's still a lot. You got a nice fade, yes, on Friday, but I still think there's more to go with this one. Speaking of big moves on Friday, this is the beauty about the market, is this WYNN. I mean, look at this daily chart. This thing has been sauced for the last year or so. This is a $191 stock down to 60. You couldn't find a buyer for this up until Friday, and then Friday shows up and it's like nobody can get it, can't get enough of it. It's just rips all day long. Didn't even break trend really on this intraday chart. So I'll be looking to really get aggressive with a short. I got a small short here already with it, but I would be looking for even more, because I think at some point it won't last for multiple days. Again, maybe I'm going to be completely wrong on this when it's just going to turn out to be a loss. Won't be the first time, but you are entering some quick resistance areas. I just think in this case, it's a little too much. I mean, this is one of the biggest days the stock has had in months, and maybe there's probably going to be a little follow-through momentum early on Monday. But look to short this one. If you don't have a position, look up towards, somewhere around the 66s, 65s if it gaps up. So keep this one on the list. I like the action here at WYNN. We'll see what happens with this one going into Monday. Also, we got some other nice setups here. One would also be this NFLX. Let me pull up the chart here. Take a second. This has got a nice looking daily chart. You got a pretty. Some of these are setting up. Again, I don't want to get over bullish with a lot of these stocks, but some of them do have some decent patterns, and it'd be nice to get away from some of them that are not biotech. Where you have a little less exposure to that area. But you got just a little pivot right here that came from this September 17th. September 17th pivot. And you got a nice little flag working here, And the 50 moving average is not too far up there, so this could be a nice little push to 109 here on this stock. Probably going to go up there, or at least try to get to the top of this. Just a little bit of space. Look for about 109 on this. Again, I think this one's going to have to set up here. You're sitting at about a 105, so if it begins the day maybe slightly in the red, holds up this 105 area or somewhere down in here, and then pivots and goes maybe from red to green, or builds a nice intraday pattern. I think that would be a pretty good trade, taking out this little small double top highs for a quick trade over 106.82. Anything that gaps up, I would just say this right now, anything that gaps up, be cautious about buying the gap ups. It's never really a good idea in any market to buy gap ups, but less in this market, because I think if you start chasing these up into some of these resistance, they're going to get sold off early, and they're going to need time to digest those moves before they can think about where they're going to go next. I like this one here possibly as a long. If there is a long I really want to get involved with right now, I kind of like this one here. Let's look for maybe a 109. It will have to set up, as I said. If it opens up at 108, I wouldn't even take it. I would just wait and see what happens later. But a nice little daily chart here. Doesn't look too bad. Looks like it might want to have a nice gear up above that 50 moving average. Another beast of a stock lately has been this RDUS. This thing is looking pretty good here too. It's like already kind of broken out of this flag here on the daily. Let me open this up for you so you can see it. It's already kind of up here, so I want to see what this one does. I mean, it's been really resilient in spite of what the market has been doing, even through August. You can see it's still been trending up. When a lot of the stocks got sold off, it really didn't get hit that much. And now that you've closed above this 75.31, which was short-term resistance, you don't have anything in this chart till about 80 bucks. So it looks like it's got an 80 magnet on it. It's just a matter of an intraday setup and getting in at the right price with these, which is really the whole fundamentals behind stock trading all, right? It's like idea, execution, and management. You can have a great idea. You can really think about a stock that's going to do something, and it will do that, but you can get a terrible entry price, or you can sabotage the trade, and that's something in this case. I think we're going to see 80 on this, providing that we don't get a huge smoke out sell in the overall markets or something like that. Keep this RDUS here. It looks kind of bullish here on the daily, kind of setting up pretty good. And then last, how about a little of this PACB, a little cheapo stock here. A couple of really nice days. Look at this daily chart here. I mean, I guess you can kind of call it like a win. You got a big rip, big bullish rip, and a bearish chart. I mean, it's still a bearish chart from 875 down here. A couple of nice paras. You're clear, I think, up until about 650s. I think in this case with this a couple of days, it would be nice to see, after a couple of day run, it'd be nice to see a gap up. If they would gap somewhere around 650, 750 or something like that, I'd probably go in short on this stock. Long, I don't know if I'm really interested. It's not my kind of style right here. Doesn't mean it wouldn't work. It's just something I probably would not mess around with. But if it sets up here for a few days, it could turn out to be, it could run to 8. You know how these little small cheapo stocks go sometimes. Like, there's a lot of traders out there that like these. They're like vultures. They come swarming in this stuff, and next thing you know, it could be $20. Who knows? Kind of looking at it as a short. I think I need, for me to want to short this, I would like to have a little bit of a gap up, something around towards the 7s, maybe even the 8s, and then using that upper area back here from the beginning of the year, from beginning of 2014 as a stop. So now we'll watch it. We'll see what happens with it. PACB. So kind of in review, you got a market, I think, that's probably going to need a few days to digest the last few days of the move. I think it's just a temporary rally. Could be wrong. I think you got some great stuff set up with INCY, WYNN, WYNN, NFLX, NFLX, RDUS, and PACB. Now, anyways, it doesn't really make a difference what's on this list. I got to be straight honest with you. You never know what the week's going to bring with you. half the time that you're trading stocks, the stuff that you think you're going to trade, you're not even trading it. You're just trading on the fly with the stuff that's moving, with the news that's moving at the time. And that's the beauty about what we do. You never know what's in store for you the following day. You just have to go with what you know, and you have to practice, and you have to make it good. So if you guys are sitting there struggling and you're having a hard time, visit the lincolnlist.com, take a 14-day free trial. Other than that, thanks for watching this video. Have a great week of trading. Talk to you soon.